Hi, welcome to Close Listening. I'm your host, Zach Morgenstern, along with silent co-host Ludwig von B. So I started doing these videos where I was more reacting on the spot to albums. I did my first one with Please Please Me by the Beatles, and someone in the comments section said, hey, how about do an ABBA reaction? I don't own any ABBA. I'm not sure how much ABBA I've actually listened to because I would have first been exposed to it when my brother was in a school production of Mamma Mia. So we had the cast album to Mamma Mia. So I guess it's basically the same music, but without the Swedish accents. So I just went to see if I could get my hands on an ABBA album. I understand that their last album counts as a bit more mature, a bit more sophisticated. The rest kind of gets described as pop. I don't think anyone really quotes it as interesting music, but it's considered good music, and I don't know, maybe there'll be something fun to react to here. So anyway, the album I was able to get my hands on was Arrival, and of course I think of the Denis Villeneuve movie with a title like that, and it's certainly a certain really cool image with some sci-fi indications there. But I don't know, I'll see if I get that provocative Denis Villeneuve feel out of it, but I'll obviously enjoy the album, and I'll know some of these songs going into it, so let's see how this goes. So I just finished listening to the first song. It's called When I Kiss the Teacher. This is one of those famous ones, though not quite famous enough to be in Mamma Mia, at least the first movie. It's about what it sounds like. Student, obviously inappropriately, kisses the teacher and feels kind of giddy about it. It's like a first love, silly fantasy kind of thing. It starts out really ambitiously, despite, what one might call bubblegum lyrics. It has a 12-string guitar, which I associate with music that's trying to sound spiritual or profound, and it has a really intense sound throughout. I particularly like it when it goes to the dreamier chorus, where the singing gets higher and says, one of these days. The only problem I have with it is during the verse, I don't really buy that the singer is the character singing this song. She sounds kind of stony, not actually like a giddy high school kid who's done something silly. When I kiss the teacher, obviously it's their second language, but I don't know, even if it was in Swedish or an English person singing in English, I still think it would sound a little awkward. The second track on the album is Dancing Queen, and I'd be lying if I told you I hadn't heard this one a million times before, but I was just listening a little carefully because I wanted to try and get something out of it this time. I did read the insert for the album before I got this, and they have a pull quote here. So Frida started crying the first time she heard the backing track for this one. And yeah, I guess imagine hearing a song that became a classic for the first time, not knowing in advance it's that classic, but just sensing it. That must be really powerful. One of the things I like in Dancing Queen that would not have been new is the specific way the piano sounds on it, the way you just hear the fingers bouncing off each individual chord. You also hear that in Waterloo, and I imagine in a bunch of other ABBA songs, but everything about the production here is so great, and even though it's pop lyrics that don't have any substance to them, this time in the vocalist, I do hear real emotion. It's much less awkward than When I Kiss the Teacher, and I guess, they're finding some meaning in it. Sure, it's just a dance, but, we don't go on adventures in our real life, losing ourselves in the dance, feeling young, feeling like you found fun and liberation for once. Those are incredibly joyful things, and if you listen closely, I think those really come out in this vocal performance. So the third track on the album is called My Love, My Life, and I have to say, so far, I'm really impressed listening to the little production details. This is a song about a marriage coming apart. I didn't look up in advance of this the history of the two marriages within ABBA, whether either of them had started to collapse at this point. So this record first comes out in 1976. So those of you who know can figure it out. But I'll just be agnostic on that. But yeah, it's this weird juxtaposition of pop and maturity, and I love the use of choir. I like the tragic little use of bells at the end. And I like the lyrics, simple as they are. I know I don't possess you, so go away. God bless you. Possess, it's such a proper way of getting at that idea. Like, you're free to go. You can make your own choices. It's speaking very legalistically. I don't possess you. Go away. God bless you. I could picture Henry Higgins singing it. So again, I think the only thing that's awkward about this one is that it's a vocal duet, but if it's was sung seriously, it's highly unlikely it would be performed as a duet unless it was like a very interesting Broadway musical setting. So I think that holds it back a little bit. Otherwise, great lesser known ABBA song. The next one, Dum Dum Diddle, is a kind of silly heartbreak song. It's about someone who feels their partner loves their violin more than them. Very upbeat, very catchy. Again, not one of the Mamma Mia songs, but I think one of the more memorable ones with more hit potential. It's gimmicky, but it works as a catchy tune. The next track on this album is Knowing Me, Knowing You. Again, one I'm very familiar with, one of my favorite ABBA songs, and I think this one works well for a number of reasons. One, you have Bjorn singing as well, and
He has a nice voice.
I don't know why
He
sing
doesn't.
more often, to be honest. Secondly, it combines the mature and pop impulses of ABBA. So on the one hand, in that chorus, when they say, knowing me, knowing you, it sounds genuinely angry. It sounds like they're really trying to represent the emotions that are represented in that lyric, but then you hear the and are they really? Are they just going for a pop song? And all pop songs are about love. So they both want you to take this song seriously and not take it seriously. It's right on the line, but because it's to the point and catchy, that on the line becomes a strength and not a weakness. The next song on the album is Money, 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 and I think I have to throw a little warning up front that I'm not going to love this one. My limited experience with making these videos is if you say you don't like something, even if it's for a non-aggressive, respectful reason, check out the comments on my Pink Floyd video, people will get annoyed about that. But basically, my problem with Money, Money, Money is, and it always has been, and maybe blame this on the fact that I discovered it in the Broadway musical context, is it just feels like a weaker version of If I Was a Rich Man from Fiddler on the Roof. Now, I was reading in the liner notes here that this song was originally going to be called Gypsy Girl, and Money, Money, Money was the filler title, but Bjorn, after giving it Money, Money, Money as the filler title, ultimately decided he wanted to stick with that one. Who knows? Obviously, with a subtitle like Gypsy Girl, you're risking a superficial representation about Roma concerns, but I don't know, if it was well done, I might think that might be a more interesting song than just B-list version of If I Were a Rich Man, it's, I don't know, it just feels a little more full than Money, Money, Money. Anyway, so the next song on the album is called That's Me, though you might think the title is Carrie, Not the Kind of Girl You Marry. So it's sung from the perspective of a woman who is presenting herself or genuinely thinks she is not marriage material, but then coyly using this as seduction. There's some good lines in there. It says, there's a special love like an eagle flying with a dove. I'll find it in the end. So I guess this person is casting herself as someone who's so out there she can only be with someone who's fundamentally different than her. I don't believe in fairy tales, sweet nothings in my ear, but I do believe in sympathy. So is this person saying, I'm not going to have a miracle, but maybe I can be a pity case? Or is it a different kind of meaning of sympathy? Is it kind of like the French word sympathique? Is it more just like, all I want in the world is some friendliness. Can you offer me some friendliness? The song is kind of an 80s aesthetic, so it has a sort of bounce to it, but it also has a kind of melancholy sound. Sometimes mixing two feel sounds can be good. Here I think it kind of undermines it because it's not an empowering song. It's not quite a profound song either. It's just in between too many things, but it's all right. It's catchy enough. The next song on the album is called Why'd It Have to Be Me? It's very catchy. I think the only reason this one is not one of the hits is because it's like something of another age. I don't know if the Beach Boys are the best comparison, but it reminds me a lot of their song All Summer Long. I also like that this is a duet between one of the guys and I believe Agnetha. I think hearing the double voices in some of the ABBA songs sometimes undermines the meaning in the words, but when you have two voices on their own being as expressive as you can within the confines of a pop song, yeah, you have two different cool sounds in the song, and they're both at their best. So I like that this song did that, that rather than the, straight singing duet, two people singing at each other at different times. The next song on the album is called Tiger, and I was reading that this was sometimes an opener for ABBA's sets, and I can see that. It comes out with a lot of playful energy. It has lyrics in it like, people who fear me never go near me, I am the tiger, and if I meet you, what if I eat you? I am the tiger. I think, unfortunately, again, sometimes Agnetha and Frida are in a bit too much of a choral mode where they're just singing together and they're trying to sing in their strongest voices as possible when it's really a song that requires some character. And obviously, you're not supposed to really believe that they're these tough street menaces, but playing the part and not quite getting it is still a lot better than just singing stone-facedly. But to be fair, they don't do that throughout the song. You can certainly see the song's potential if it was a slightly better performance than what was captured in the studio. And then at the end, there's this great scream. What I've liked about these songs is they're not really uniform throughout. They'll bring in a nice little variation at the end, or you'll hear occasionally different instruments brought in. So, even if they're not A+, they're surprisingly interesting to listen to. So the next song on the album is called Arrival. And this song was inspired by the album title. It wasn't, the album title wasn't taken from that one. So that's an interesting note. That was in the liner notes, so I don't think there was an actual explanation for where the title was going from. It's almost an instrumental. I guess it's not quite, because you still have the singers in there, but they're just going, ah, and I don't know, it kind of has a Celtic arrival kind of sound to it, like almost something you'd hear in Lord of the Rings. Anyway, it was a cool, pleasant surprise. So the next song on this album is Fernando, another classic. It opens up with some kind of panned pipes, and it briefly sounds like a similar melody to the one used in El Condor Pasa, a song which Paul Simon famously translated. It's hard to know if it's quoting that or it's just that instrument is so unique to my ear that I'm thinking about that. Outside of that, I don't know, it's a good song. It's, quoting the archetype of Latin American revolutionary of some kind. There's a reference to the Rio Grande, so possibly some sort of Mexican-American conflict, but I don't think the song's trying to stir anything up and really be about anything of substance, so it doesn't get any more specific than that. Not much to say about it, but certainly catchy to listen to, and supposedly it was originally going to be on a solo album for Frida. Again, thank you, liner notes. I just got to the final track on the record. It's called Happy Hawaii. Kind of what it sounds like. It could be a vacation ad. I don't know, maybe they went to Hawaii and had a good time, and I suppose if you like ABBA and you're traveling there, it's a nice backing track. Otherwise, nothing special, but certainly a catchy song. Nice completion to what I think was overall a pleasantly interesting album with some different musical styles and some interesting lyrical moments. So I'm glad I did this reaction. I'm glad I actually got to listen to ABBA in album form and not just, vaguely know the greatest hits that were in Mamma Mia, and hopefully I'll get to listen to more of their records down the road. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed these videos. Check out my interviews with some fellow up-and-coming singer-songwriters, which I also do on this channel, and see you sometime soon. For Silent co-host Ludwig von B, I'm Zach Morgenstern. See you next time.